Hello everybody, James here with the Stevie Richards Show, a YouTube exclusive. This news came kind of late last night for you, Stevie. I guess you were already in bed if it came after 6 p.m.
Yeah, I got to actually read it at 3:30 a.m. when I it broke. So I have to say, I'm going to apologize for the video and audio quality because we're trying to get this out as quickly as possible. And James is smiling, and every time my OCD kicks in.
The OCD is kicking in, but don't worry. You do that and nobody complains, ever. They're like, damn, it still looks better than 99% of wrestling shows, especially out there.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's not as good as your AI thumbnails, though.
You know you wind me up with them every time. Right then.
Aha.
Aha. We're going to talk about Roger Jackson in a second. Once again, the latest episode of the Stevie Richards Show is going to be coming out later today, 2 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. UK time, and I think it's going to be maybe the most explosive one we've ever done. We're addressing Carl Fletcher, Dave Meltzer, others as well. We're going to be talking about Jim Cornette, not addressing anything he said about Stevie, but something else. Saudi Arabia stuff is going to be a pretty in-depth, deep, interesting show, so hopefully you'll join us for that. But Roger Jackson has been arrested, Stevie. Goodness me, it's been a month, can you believe?
Yeah, I guess the wheels of justice turn very, very slowly. I don't know why this took a month to even happen, but now, yes, he's actually currently in jail as of late Thursday night, according to the TMZ article you're going to read, on $50,000 bond. And as of that report, he was still in jail.
Indeed. So it was actually, he was arrested in the morning time, Pacific time. He was booked just shortly before 2 p.m. Pacific time. So I guess he was in a holding cell for a while before they officially booked him. But yeah, the article is Roger Jackson, the son of UFC legend Quentin Rampage Jackson, was arrested on Thursday for brutally beating down a wrestler at an event late last month. The 25-year-old was taken into custody earlier in the morning and booked on a felony charge. Doesn't specify what the felony charge is, which I found it to be quite interesting. For your money, and I've got my own reasons for thinking this, do you think it's going to be an assault charge? Do you think it's going to be an attempted murder charge?
Oh, wow. I couldn't even tell you. I've looked at some lawyer videos. I know David Otunga has one that particularly speaks to a lot of people out there. There's also a couple more lawyers that have talked about this, but not fresh content based on this felony charge. I don't know how far they'll go with it. Is it aggravated assault at the very least? That supposedly is a felony charge, I believe. I've never gotten into trouble. I'm one of the few wrestlers that is not familiar with getting charged. As a matter of fact, just at the mere mention that someone is in a holding cell or someone has their freedom taken away, that terrifies me. To know that like you're just in this cell and you don't know what's going to happen or how long you're going to be there. That's an interesting fact too. $50,000 bond. He was officially booked at 2 p.m. Pacific time, correct? He was arrested in the morning. He was booked at 2 p.m. And as of late Thursday night, I guess Pacific time, because TMZ is in California, he was still in jail. So his father has not posted bond to get him out of jail as of last night.
Yes, so the article was posted 7:02 p.m. Pacific, so that would be 10 p.m., around 10 p.m. for you. And
Correct.
3 a.m. for me. So
what?
Yeah.
I mean, what do you make of that? That might be a story within itself. Is Rampage Jackson, it's pure speculation, is he saying this is something you did and you have to kind of learn a lesson, at least for now? Is he letting him sit there to kind of sweat it out?
Well, I figure if they'd arrested him, if they arrested him around 2 p.m., I think it would be too late to get him in front of a judge at that point. So they just hold him overnight, and then I guess they would decide this morning, take him to court, decide whether he can pay bail or not, and make that decision this morning. So that's my guess. So in the next few hours, we could find out probably that he's been bailed or not.
Well, I thought he got arrested in the morning. I just want to make it clear from what I read. He got arrested in the morning, booked at 2 p.m. Pacific
Yeah, but that'd be
time.
in the police station. He'd be booked at 2 p.m. So,
That's true.
yeah.
And then you can't get him to a court by 5 p.m. or whenever they close. So yeah, holding him overnight like that would be, I guess, the way it goes, which is it's just terrifying to think about, spending a night in jail. I can't imagine.
For people who don't know, do you want to give us the absolute... Everybody knows, I know, but for the one or two people who don't know the full, or at least the bare bones facts of the case, do you want me to very quickly run through it, or would you rather?
Yes, please. I
Okay,
think
then.
people need to be reminded of because it's been a month too. People are like, well, it moves so quick. The news cycle, how many things have crazy things have happened in the past month alone, in the past week alone. How much craziness is going on?
Yeah, tell me about it. We may do a second video on WrestlePalooza, I guess, as well later today. Why not? I mean, since we're here, we might as well do more news, I guess. But okay,
If we ever get to sign up, it's so incredibly difficult.
Yeah,
on
I
the
know. It took me all of
website.
3 seconds, including activating the VPN.
Aha!
Aha. Yes, might be another Dave Meltzer video coming towards you later, coming at you.
It took you less time than me saying aha to sign up.
Right, I'll do it on desktop. You do it on your phone. And we'll see how... Anyway, I'll carry on. So with the Raja Jackson thing, he was invited to a show. It was a school co-owned by WWE Hall of Famer Rikishi. And I said this in my other video. I think he's called Rodney. What's he called? Rodney Anoa'i, which I thought was Yokozuna's name, so maybe I've screwed up there.
Yeah, that is Rodney. He's Rodney. I believe, oh my God, I forget his name, but Black Pearl is the official wrestling name for him.
Yeah, well, I nearly said better known as, but also known as Black Pearl. Anyway, the issue is that Psycho Stu is a wrestler. He might have had a couple. He lightly bonked Raja Jackson, who's not a wrestler, not a pro wrestler, not a wrestling fan. He was invited by some cowboy gimmick wrestler who was also there. Psycho Stu bonked him on the head lightly with a mostly empty beer can, we figure. Didn't really punch him with it like a working punch kind of thing. And he was like,
he put his hand over the head, as a matter of fact, and he hit his own hand. It looks, no matter what, that was really dumb. That was stupid. Not knowing who you're doing that to. And once again, I will echo it throughout this video or any other one that's related. Protect the business from things like this that potentially could happen. Not having a barbecue cookout in the afternoon in the parking lot is not putting up the barrier that's necessary.
It's called Reno Anoa'i. I screwed up there. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to do an edit on the other video, like, as well you're speaking, because that'll bug me. Okay, then, so he bonked him on the head. Raja Jackson was really upset with it, started confronting anyway, wouldn't accept the apology. Then Black Pearl told Raja, hey, you can get your revenge, your receipt in the ring. And then all of a sudden, he accepted the apology. It was a fake acceptance of an apology because really over the course of 2.5 hours or whatever on his own live stream, he then conspired to beat Psycho Stu up, and he kept telling people he was going to do it, including his own followers, which was about, I don't know, a few dozen preteens, I guess he was trying to impress. And then he went into the ring when given the cue. Psycho Stu had no idea he was going to do this. He slammed him MMA-style shoot onto the ground, knocked him out. His head whiplash hit the canvas. Then Raja Jackson punched him nearly 24 times over the course of 10-11 seconds before he was pulled off Stu's unconscious body. Stu was received brain damage or a serious concussion at the very least. Fractured bones in his skull, broken several teeth. He was choking on his own blood, choking on his own teeth. He is at home now, still convalescing because it's a brain injury, and brain injuries can be very, very serious. You may never recover from it. You may never be the same again. And the best thing for him at this point is that he's basically shielded from as much stress as humanly possible. Raja was not arrested. The police were called that evening. But once again, Raja was not arrested that night. He was not arrested for another month. So there you go.
That's an interesting timeline because you would think, like I had said in the previous videos, that when something like this goes down, I think I watched enough episodes of Cops to kind of know that we're kind of arresting everybody. We're taking everybody. Obviously, Stu, you're not going to put the cuffs on him, but we kind of joked that might have been a case that he might be arrested for not being able to defend himself. And we said that in a joking way, but this is California. This is Los Angeles. The victim usually is the one that gets arrested. So, with that being said, why was it a month? What was the information over 30 days that the police or even the state police, we don't even know who kind of made this arrest. Obviously, he's in a local jail, but who said, yes, we have grounds, arrest him. 30 days. What information and what did you need to see, hear, or take a statement from? Who did you need to take a statement from to finally put it over the top to say, yes, we should charge him with something?
Well, Douglas Mallow, he's the guy who stopped Raja Jackson from further attacking, and he was trying to further attack him, by the way. He would have punched him until he was exhausted otherwise. It's quite clear from the video. Douglas Mallow said that he'd been interviewed by the Los Angeles Police Department. I mean, obviously, been exonerated for hitting Raja once. It was all in the commission of, protecting somebody else, of course. Raja said that the reason that the LAPD were taking their sweet time, dragging their feet over an arrest, was they were trying to get all the players and their motivations, sort of their ducks in a row about who was everybody here and why everybody was there, etc. But also, they were trying to, according to Douglas, trying to figure out exactly the level of premeditation and exactly what to charge Raja with, which in my mind makes absolutely no sense, because in my video I said I've spoken to at least UK people who are police officers and in law enforcement, and all of them are baffled by this, why it would take them a month, because you can arrest them for just a felony, and then you can add on charges afterwards, and you further investigate the premeditation aspects and anybody else you may need to arrest as far as colluding with Raja Jackson. You can do that after the fact. You don't have to get... You could have absconded the country 100 times in this month,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You usually arrest, or you basically detain and say you're not under arrest. We're just questioning everybody till you can sort it out. 30 days as opposed to just watching the live stream before and after the beating, and the actual beating will take less than 4 hours to figure it out. So I don't know. You're talking to police people. I talk to certain law enforcement. They're just the same thing. And they're a little bit more like, if they don't arrest this kid in the first 7 days, maybe, they're never going to arrest him. So this came as a complete surprise and downright shock to me. I don't know about you, James, where I was like, oh, I figured they were never going to arrest him by this point, or at least even bring him in for questioning and figure out what happened.
Yeah, I don't understand the reasoning. And I don't know American politics as well as obviously a lot of people, of course, but do the LAPD have like some horrible reputation for dragging their feet, or are they terribly underfunded? Or
well,
what?
I mean, all you have to do is watch the video, and it's clearly a one-sided open and shut case as far as this is what happened. Now, you can say something about the Stu aspect of it, but what would you say about, like, if he had popped him right there? This is the point we made before. Stu did that. It was stupid. By instinct, he just jabbed him, popped him, slapped him, did whatever. Then it'd be like, okay, hopefully it's just over. If it escalates after that, which it did, based on Raja accepting the apology and then basically making his plan on a live stream known to everybody what he was going to do. Then after the live stream, when someone goes, that was an accident, or whoever he was on the phone with, right? You didn't mean to do it. Trying to, I guess, coach him to say, hey, it was an accident or whatever. I don't have to punch anybody 21, 22 times by accident. But he was like, no, I meant to do that. He just said, yeah, it was totally intentional. How do you take 30 days? There's a thing about being careful, especially in that powder keg that could happen in LA. But 30 days? Or maybe they just waited till it completely quieted down. Other news is on the forefront. Now we can kind of arrest them under the radar. Does that make more sense?
Yeah, but I don't understand why. A month, man. Because like, if you're going to arrest somebody for such, once again, an open and shut case, you need to get that evidence. Once, like I make the point, it's like, you want to photograph his hands. You want the cuts and bruises and swelling of his hands because he's hit this other guy. So you want to photograph that. You want to document it. A month later, that's all gone. You want to get his phone as soon as possible. Look, as incriminating the evidence is already out there. You want more texts. You want more phone calls. You want login information from your phone. The quicker you arrest somebody.
After the incident, did he say something like, good for you, I hope he passes away, or these things after the fact, which he was still wound up for quite a while after this. Also, did they go to the hospital when Stu was able to be interviewed to see about that? There was no mention of that unless it happened and they just didn't talk about it. They waited till he went home. But once again, like you said, as more time goes on, and obviously he must have been scraped up or bruised or even, injured from punching that guy so many times. That's all gone, right? The, the
Hmm.
the the actual physical where you would take a picture of your hands, where Stu would take pictures of immediately after the assault to say this is the damage that was done like immediately afterwards.
$50,000. We'll go on to other stuff as well, but $50,000 for all that, it seemed quite low.
Well, that's a bond. So the bond is 10% of the bail, I believe. So it's
Hmm.
a $500,000 bail. Putting up 10% would be the $50,000 bond. Like I said, you're asking the wrong person about getting into trouble, getting arrested, posting bond or bail. I am not the dude.
Yeah, specifically from TMZ, jail records show he's currently still behind bars being held on a $50,000 bond. So,
That's
there
the
you go.
amount they need to pay
Yeah.
to bail him out.
Well, it's lucky that Rampage Jackson was saving for his son's bail all this time.
Yeah, I was that line was what that was like 2 weeks before this happened. Or
Yeah.
it was not long before this act. It was very, very prophetic in a way.
There's one more thing that I'd like to bring up here. Another potential reason the investigation may have faltered. But here's the thing, it's like it's such a serious case, you don't even need a complaining witness. All the evidence is there. But according to Douglas Mallow, I think during his first interview with those guys who go to the gym a lot, clearly, is this
Scaled
is
up
what
podcast. Is that what it's called? Scaled up podcast.
something
Or
like
something?
that, yeah, something like that. Anyway, he said this: the most disgusting thing. Once again, this is allegedly an allegation from Douglas Mallow. The most disgusting thing that people at this school are being encouraged to not cooperate with the police. From what I hear, the police were there investigating the scene shortly after Stu was removed, and there have been multiple requests that have gone downstream from upper management to not talk with the police directly if they are contacted, and to only let a certain group of individuals interact with the police. That is extremely dishonest. You guys let your friend almost die, and now you're trying to have people lie for you. Now, Nox Pro have said that that was not the case, so that's their side of the story, and Douglas Mallow says it was, but I mean, presuming that it was, I mean, how much would that hamper an... I kind of think it wouldn't hamper an investigation that much, because once again, I mean, it's as open and shut as it gets.
Well, also you have Douglas Mallow in the ring being there's no degree of separation of him being a witness. As a matter of fact, and I should say aggravated, the assault is the intent. The battery is the actual contact or act of violence. So it's assault and battery, but also he tried to assault Doug. He tried to take him down. So there might be another charge that he could press charges on. But why are you not asking Doug right then and there what happened, looking at the video, saying, oh, you were directly involved, you were part of the whole deal, and then asking, those are the only two people, Stu, Doug Mallow, and of course, the video evidence directly from the guy who did it, Roger Jackson. What more do you need? Or whoever was in the audience filming it with their phone as well. Who's that person?
People. There's more than one.
People, but the one angle we
Yeah.
looked at was kind of like diagonally towards over the ring post.
That was on Roger's live stream. That was the live stream video.
Oh my
and then
God.
somebody
You're right.
and then
You're
somebody
absolutely-
else was filming it as well, but they'd actually filmed, when Stu was unconscious and then that wrestler tried to pin him and then the referee counted down. That came from another person's phone. But yeah, so that was all from Roger's own live stream.
That's sort of a scary time too. That the live stream's one thing, but we live in a society when someone's like literally almost getting unalived, instead of stepping in or at least calling 911, most people do this and just want to film it.
It's the bystander effect. The more people around, the less likely someone is to jump in and help.
Yeah, I still give that 17-year-old kid credit because Roger could have turned around and really messed that kid up as well. That's like the bravest kid of all because he was probably the most scared, but said, I got to at least try to do something. So whoever that kid is, you're more of a man than most of those guys.
So once again, an entire month. And I talk to police over here because I know, through friends and family, there are people who work there, work with various police forces in the country. And once again, they all said, I can't square the circle of how it's a month. Because once again, you arrest them immediately after you find them. There's different ways of working with warrants and stuff over here. You don't need a warrant to enter somebody's premises to arrest them if you know they're inside or you've got more than reasonable suspicion they're inside, kind of thing. I know it's different state to state in the States, But once again, I mean, you arrest them. You basically what I was surprised by is that you basically overcharge them. So over here, it'd be more likely that Raja would be arrested for attempted murder, and then the Crown Prosecution Service would amend that charge if they feel like it would need amending. But basically, you go for like the most extreme charge, not the most extreme, but you go for the higher charge if you're in between two. So you go, at the very least, you would go grievous bodily harm with intent here, which is one under basically attempted murder as far as the seriousness of charges. But I don't know how it works in the States, but so that's more conjecture on my part. But once again, I mean, you do it immediately over here, and I figure you should really arrest people immediately over there for a crime of that nature.
Well, usually it, like I said, it's arrest, detain. There's person of interest. There's the questioning, bringing somebody in for questioning. All that stuff is front loaded, and then we sort it out and see who the witness is, who's the perpetrator. Obviously, we know who the victim is. He's still laying in the ring, but that's the way it is. Let's get everybody rounded up and get everything sorted out, and that overcharging, it's probably to hold the person, higher bail, higher bond, to see. Obviously, you're trying to see if they're a real threat in a way. They were a real, how should I say, like with Raja. He could have left the country. He could have won to a non-extradition country, and it would have been, what? What do you do? I mean, that's not the part that's probably going to be the thing that he could do time, but they're going to be sued. Him, his father, the school. There's no doubt, unless Stu is that much of a wrestling fan, that much of a mark, that he wants to get a push or he wants an opportunity. He doesn't want to be blacklisted in the business or anything like that. Dude, don't worry about that, because the money's never going to cure your brain damage. God forbid. Hopefully this guy's going to make a recovery. But like you said, chances are people don't understand a one-punch knockout, the one-punch kill, or anything like that. The 21, 22 times getting punched unconscious and getting the back of his head kind of like smashed into the mat. The only thing that would have made that worse is if it was concrete. At least he had a little bit of but he's got he's got a road to recovery ahead of him that like we don't know if it's ever going to be back to 100% for Stu.
Yeah, absolutely. So once again, Raja Jackson has been arrested. That's confirmed. He was booked just shortly before 2 p.m. Pacific time. So that'd be around 7 p.m. Stevie's time and midnight, I guess, my time. I guess we're crossing international date lines for whatever reason we are.
We got to start giving Saudi Arabia time now.
Oh, yeah. 4 hours ahead? So, yeah, that might be 4 a.m. Saudi Arabia.
We'll never have to worry about it.
No. Turkey's 4 hours ahead, I know that. All right, of us, anyway, or me, I should say. Anything to wrap up this thought, Stevie, or we've done it all?
Oh, it's just a terrible situation. No matter the outcome for Raja, no matter what happens on a criminal or civil level, I'll repeat what I said. This guy may never be the same again. So we hope he is. We hope he goes back to 100%, but that was a terrible beating. And the fact it took 30 days to figure out that maybe we should arrest this guy, the American justice system is something else.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, man. We might be back with another YouTube exclusive video today. We're not sure about that, but for absolutely certain, we will be back later this afternoon or this evening, wherever you are, with a brand new episode of the Stevie Richards Show. Once again, Stevie and I, and this was
we're actually looking for instructions on how to sign up through ESPN because it's so difficult. We need somebody to guide us step by step through that.
Yeah, do you know we should talk about the wrestle. It was already bad enough with the wrestle. It's another video. We'll see you probably with another video anyway before we just go on with ourselves about that. Thank you for watching. Once again, the Stevie Richards Show. Brand new episode regarding Dave Meltzer, Kyle Fletcher responses, what Jim Cornette said about Mercedes Moné, Saudi Arabia, a couple of other things, Tiffany Stratton's injury as well, Andrade being fired. We go through some of the juiciest news and responses and all that kind of thing later today. We hope to see you then. Until then, we the people, Stevie. No, I'm just joking. That's the Dutch sign-off. See you later.
That's better.